Alrighty, hello and welcome back. I'm Saber1, and this is the Slaverian Trucker guide and tips and tricks. We will continue here in the little town of Kalavi, and we'll get started with checking out the docks down the road here. Check out the little surroundings of this town, and I think we'll probably do our first good paying job this time around. Fire up our old puppy here. We turn down the music just a bit. Alright, so we did our first mission slash task of delivering those boxes to the Mishas here. And we earned ourselves a few bucks, which is pretty sweet. We'll need those monies for fuel, food, and use it for either parts or other deliveries, which we can actually buy our own supplies and get paid for that instead of paying for someone else's deliveries. So here we have our open Monday to Friday days. This is our buddy here. He runs a little bit of a shop, and if your truck or car gets broken down, you can always bring it to the shop here, pull into this little square, and he will give you a price to fix it. So here we've got a bunch of parts that are really expensive, as you can tell here. So money is quite a big commodity in this game. Now our motor was a little bit low on oil, so we could put some oil in it. These are suspension parts for a Ludo, which is a four-door car, which we have to find out in the world. Here's our toolbox, medium repair box, which is fairly needed on some of the vehicles that you buy or find parts out in the waste. You need to fix them in order to really use them. Got a brand new small engine for a car. Got a brand new radiator. Some suspension parts here. There's a small gasoline engine. That's a 75 horse, which is smaller than the one we've got in the truck. And look at the price on that one, 250,000 SD. That seems pretty high, but the way the money works is pretty high amounts for little value, which is kind of like a non-American currency where one is $1. This here is probably like 500 to a dollar. So this asshole decided to smash into my truck here. Oh, and he got reset because he was up against our vehicle, but sometimes if you park on the streets, you will cause a bit of a ruckus, so make sure to pull out if you are on the street. They'll keep ramming you until you're moved. So anyway, we are going to go check out the docks, as I said earlier. I'll check out all these stores in a minute. This guy's really rammy, so let's get out of his way. Now some towns you'll want to maybe get out of the vehicle and go explore, check out what's around town. Maybe there's some people who want jobs done, which is fairly empty at this point, but there are some new jobs picking up here soon. Little tasks around the villages. Right, I stopped a little far, but as you can see, there's a nice big list here. So this place here will buy all of this stuff that you find either out in the world or from the building supplier. So all these things are the price for one package or pallet or whatever. So we've got pallets of pallets, we'll pay 70,000. Industrial goods, consumer goods, that seems like a really high number, but the actual buying price is about 130,000, so you're earning only about 39,000 out of the deal. We got to figure out who sells the consumer goods, so that's one of the other things we'll get to. So you got stone, empty barrels. So you remember the first video, we had a couple of empty barrels just sitting at the yard there. So we could have brought those and earned about 17 1,000 SD. So that would have been a nice little boost. We've got pipe, scrap metal, blah 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 blah. The list goes on. So the one number I'm going to give you a bit of a boost here is the scrap metal. Sells for, or they buy it for 56,000. So I want to keep that in mind. So at the docks here, I know it's a little bit dark and I don't have a flashlight or torch or anything, but these buildings all have a sell point. Now this square corresponds to what's out front. So here at this building we could sell pipes and we can sell scrap metal. Over here, here's our sell zone. We've got planks and we've got logs. And then I think you can sell it either here or the other side, I'm not sure 100%. Here we've got our empty barrels, and here's the sell point. So all around this whole dock there's going to be a bunch of these buildings, and they all have the same sort of setup where they have a square and the item corresponding to what can be sold there. It doesn't say that, so it's a nice little tip for you guys. So you're not like, where the hell do I sell this stuff? It's all around the docks. You just kind of got to look and put 2 and 2 together. Alright. So now that we know, we can either make a list and save it on our computer, or take a picture of it and then you can reference to it later. But that's what I did. I just wrote down all the prices on a piece of paper and kind of just, as I went through each town, I would write them down, and you figure out a good good delivery route. Or you can go to the said person that we visited there, Jack's. You can take their jobs. Some places have a job board just like that, and you take the jobs for them and deliver it to where they need. But right now, let's head back up into town here. Let's check out a few things. Go over how to fill your truck up with fuel, and buy some food and drinks for yourself on your travels. So in town there's sometimes a few places that are open. Some don't have any shops at all, but they'll have a gas station that you can pull up to. Oh, and I forgot that my tank is on this side, so we'll have to turn around. And we don't want to forget to fill up our Jerry there either. So you don't have to turn your truck off, nothing will happen if you fill it with fuel, but I do it just because it's kind of enjoyable this way. It's a bit relaxing to do. See how it disappeared because I was just a bit too far. So if we get just close enough and aim, should start filling up. I'm not quite close enough. Unfortunately, it's silly like that. So just move up a little bit and then move back up. So we're nice and close. There we go, just like real life. I'll just leave this puppy running, it's not going to hurt anything. It's a diesel anyway, there's no spark. But you should be able to... Oh right, it's not a diesel. It's not a diesel truck right now. Fill her up with some fuel. So probably go to about 60. And then we'll throw that back on. See, it chews up our money pretty easily. So we don't want to use up it all. Use it all in one go here. We want to make sure we have at least a few dollars so we can buy a few things. Food, as like our thirst is already at 50%, so we'll have to keep in mind that we have that to worry about. It'd help if I was in gear. Okay, so let's back up here. I think this is like the what do you call it? Like a little bar slash eatery. So if there's some place that wanted you to deliver some packages here, this is where you would open the doors, I think, and then maybe you don't deliver to these ones. It's only the grocery stores. So yeah, this is just a nice little relax spot, and you can get a hot cup of Joe, which is a nice little coffee. Will bring your fatigue down. You could do a vodka shot, which will get you a little bit drunk. I like to try and toss these right in the sink over there. It's a little bit of a... Oop, missed that one. So thank you to the Miss Lady here. They look pretty ridiculous, but here's a couple things of food here. So our food's okay. Our thirst is about 50. So going to the fridge here, you can either get well water or you can buy a couple beers. Let's get a couple brews. Hell yeah, it's 2 in the morning. Why not, right? So pop a cap, slap that in our throat. Hell yeah. That's some good shit, lady. God damn, is this imported from Africa? Holy fuck. Hell yeah, we'll drink another one. Sure, there's no fucking cops in this world, is there? Oh, baby. Alright, thirst is down to 0 again. Let's see if we get in the sink. Oh, just barely made the sink. There you go, lady. Now you can wash my beer. Alright, so as you can see, there's a bit of an effect. The more we drink, the worse we get. Just piss on our garbage here, because we don't need that toxic, watery bullshit in our body. Get rid of that crap here right now. Alright, hopefully there's no cops around. Oh, they're over there. Oh shit, I'm not driving, sir. I didn't have a beer, nope. Alright, off we go. We got ourselves some fuel. Our fatigue, hunger, and bladder are all taken care of. I guess I can go over this spot here. This is another job place, where if you felt like doing these jobs, you could do that for sure. Be a little bit of a rundown. This guy doesn't say anything, but another couple of jobs here. This place is way far away. This is way far away, and Strelican's way far away. So again, you can back your truck up into here. It's a little bit tighter, but do like I showed you in the first video. So these are paying 20,000, 18, 24, which in realistically, it's not a lot of earning out of that. Not when we have enough money to purchase our own goods to then drive it to another delivery place. So I will head out of town here, and we are going to go back to Belarsk, which is the town basically at the end of this, well, not the end, but where we were in the first video where we didn't stop. And there was a reason why I didn't want to stop there, because we want to just get the first quest out of the way so everybody can kind of follow along, earn your beginning amount of money. So now we're down to 75,000. Which is enough to purchase a few pallets of goods that we can then drive all the way back here to sell to the dock and pretty much double our money. So when I was at the dock there, I mentioned the one pallet on the board there that they said they'll pay 56,000 for, and the pallet that we're gonna pick up, the scrap metal from Belarsk, is only 25,000. So we are legitimately doubling our money, and the more pallets we do, the better earnings we'll make in the day. Now with this game, there are a lot of places to explore. It's a very, very big map, and there's lots of little discoveries that you can either find for your truck. They can be parts for another vehicle, such as a car, an off-road 4x4 truck, as well as there's another big delivery truck that is very late game, but there are ways to achieve getting it relatively early. but that won't be happening anytime soon. So right now I'm going to take my sweet time because this truck's engine is kind of a bogus one to start with. It does not allow for much power, which leads me to the exploring a little bit. There are some bigger, more powerful engines out in the wastes, and you can throw them in your truck here right away and then get a bit of a power and speed boost, which is nice, especially in the early days. This engine is a pain in the butt to deal with. It takes so long, especially with loaded cargo. As you can see, I'm barely getting 30k up this hill and I'm completely empty, so it does take a little while. This building here you can visit, and you can, I think, rent a room for the night so you can lower your fatigue and have a sleep, but I kind of find it a little bit useless. It would be different if there was no other way to sleep. Then I guess you could use them, but I believe you can either carry a mattress or like a bed sofa thing out in the world. You can find them, and then you can just toss them in your inventory, throw them out in the world, and use them wherever you want. Or you just drink coffee, and you can find that at any little cafe that I was just at. Now sleep, I think by the time you hit 90 fatigue, your view will be kind of like hindered by a black HUD, more or less, and it narrows down your vision, so it's a little bit annoying. So it does make you use the coffee or the bed to sleep on, and it'll drain it back down to 0. Same with thirst. Once your thirst gets to about 90, I do believe that it'll do the same thing with the black outline of your screen, and it'll be a little harder to see. So right now I am completely let off the gas, and I'm just coasting down this hill. So you do not want to over rev your engine. See, we're at about 8,000, which is pretty high for a small little V8, so you might want to tone her down a bit. But there is one thing you can adjust, and that is the gear ratio of your engine / transmission, because they are kind of all together. Alright, so now we're at Belarsk, in town here. There's a few things to show in this town, but right now, for the sake of the video, we're at about 18 minutes in. I want to kind of get to the point. There's this store here. It is called something Builders Merchant. So this is where we want to start using our income or our money as our capital and invest in our own basic self, I guess. So instead of spending that 75,000 on a bunch of other things, this is what you should. Oh, drove with the cap open. I don't think it has any real effect, but I just try to keep things the way they're supposed to be. So this guy, he will buy these items now. It's not quite as big of a list as the docks over there, but he will buy certain things. So now we have scrap metal, and his purchase price is 24,000, whereas the other place down at the docks was 56,000. So these guys will always buy, if they supply it, they will always buy it for 1,000 less than what you will pay for it. So you can't ever cheese this system. So here's the sell point. So you would bring your goods off your vehicle over here. You can either, I don't think it's quite big enough to back in, but you can either throw it off your truck, which is kind of why they give you a forklift, because normally you wouldn't be able to lift these pallets or anything heavy without it, but because if you're out in the world, they have pallets and stuff, they give you the option to, if you hit F2, if you look at the far right, at the bottom there, it says heavy object mode, so you can toggle that on, and this will allow you to pick up heavy items. So I'll turn that off for now. Over here we've got some scrap metal. So it says 25,000. We've got a cement crate over here for 39. We got bricks for 82. Got concrete slabs for 55. Empty barrels for 61. So this is another thing, that's 61 here. So you could buy a bunch of these and then sell it for, I think it was 8,800 or something. And these are nice and small, so you could fill your truck with a whole bunch of these and get 2,000 for each of them. We got the pipes here for 65, so this and the scrap metal from the docks were put together, so those two would be a good item to pair. But at this point, if I know I'm going to double my money, why wouldn't I buy this? So we bought one. It is now over here. We're going to turn on our heavy object mode, and we're going to click it. Lower our stuff here, and then we'll drop it in our truck, and as you can see, the truck reacts to how heavy this is. So you do want to be careful and don't extremely overload your truck in the beginning. So we're going to buy 2 of them. So now we actually have enough for 3, but we don't have enough storage space for 3. So if you really want to overload it, you can. The locking, I think, might work. That if you stack items, they will all fit. But for the sake of not having a crucial impact or crash or anything, we're just going to keep it like this. We'll turn our object mode off because little things you won't be able to pick up, and sometimes that the wording disappears, but it's still engaged, and that you won't be able to pick up little things. So anyway, that's our investment now. We have invested 50,000 into delivering these crates from this location now down to the docks there. So our food and hunger is still pretty good. Our health is fine. Our bladder's nice and low. I think I could show you guys the store here. So we have a few items like a case of beer, a case of water to bring with us on our travels. As I said, the traffic is sometimes a pain in the butt, so you have to really stay off the road so they don't ram into you and be stupid like that. Get out of our truck. Might as well turn our wipers on, get the water off our windshield while we're inside. Leave the door open, that's fine. We're going to check our literage here. So we've gone down to 3.8 liters and 3.9. So we could spend a bit of cash, get these up, but for now I think they're okay. They're not going to explode or nothing on us. So just end up deteriorating the power on them, or not the power, the durability. So in this store here, all the stores have different amounts of stuff that you can buy. We got bread for 310, or we've got flour for 190, which we can then turn into bread and then cook it. So we can either spend more and have the finished product, or we can take it home and cook with it. So you would just you'd buy this, make it into a piece of bread by clicking on it or whatever, and then put it in the oven. So what I like to do is get a 6-pack of water. It's only 700. We're just going to take this, open our bag, throw it in there. And then a couple other items. I like to usually buy beer, but not in singles. This guy doesn't have any packs of beer, so we'll just stick with water for now. If you guys want me to, I can go through a playthrough of being an absolute drunk and always needing thirst. Let's say thirst 30 and you have to drink a beer or something. Can be pretty funny to try and drive all drunk and stuff, but you can buy a map. It'll just show the map like I showed you in the first video on the bed, but I know my way around, so you can either hit escape and do this, where you can then just hit M and get a nice map overlay, which is a nice little feature that wasn't in the game at one point, so glad he added that for some other newbies, which is good. So there's one other spot I want to show you in town here. It's kind of mid to late game, but it is useful. So this sawmill here, just put our e-brake on and jump out. So this place here, some businesses have little statements just to make it nice and clear. So they buy logs, so you can purchase logs for probably cheaper than this, and these guys will buy it from you, which you would bring it here and they would buy it. This place has a sign here that says Belar's Sawmill is for sale. Profit of 90,000 to 22 or 220,000 a week, which is pretty good money, but you can make that easily in one day with deliveries. And you have to purchase it for $9.850 million. Yes, million. So that's nowhere near early game prices, so that gives you a lot to work for. And then over here we have more jobs. So these ones pay a little bit more. Comso is quite a ways away. I would never want to take those, but this one seems pretty intriguing at 156,000. But 4 pallets, you'll have to take 2 trips with your 1 truck. So you have to really weigh your options here. But I haven't done any of these missions after purchasing and delivering my own pallets, so you might try it for a couple of things and decide to do it your own way. It's up to you. Immersion wise, you could probably do those jobs and work your way up to being able to afford your own pallets of stuff here, but because I've played this game enough that doing these kind of deliveries is much more profitable, and you just have your own investments that way. So that's the first little town of Belarsk, and we'll go do our first delivery here. Obviously you guys know that we paid 25,000 for these 2 crates, so that was 50,000 total, and we will double our money, so we will then have another 100 grand in our pockets after we deliver these, which will be pretty sweet. So I will probably jump to that point and continue from there. Alrighty, hello. So back in Kolovi, and we've still dealing with the rain. Unfortunately, is not stopped yet. Slow her right down. Alright, so now that we're in the area where we can deliver these, you can either jump out and do it by hand, or in this case we can just kind of drive our truck over the box here and it'll automatically take it. So there, we've earned 136,000 from 70. So that's pretty sweet. We've earned quite a bit of money today. Now the best thing to do is obviously continue doing that over and over until you get a bunch of money, because there's not very many what do you call it, crates that will actually double your money, especially in the early game. So that doing that over and over was my strat in the beginning, even though it was very slow. It was definitely worth doing, so most people would stick with that for at least a couple in-game days, and it might be a little boring, but it'll be worth it. You'll have to fill your truck up, I think, at least once, so you got to remember to keep some money in the bank for that reason. But at this point, the more money you earn, the more you can then purchase for yourself, and obviously if you want to drive safer and stack those crates, you could probably lean them in the box a certain way and maybe have the ends kind of like sticking out, lay them on their side or whatever. There's all sorts of ways to do it, but I think that's gonna be it for this episode, now that I've shown you guys. Oh, hello. Yeah, just push it out of the way, no problem. Good job. Yeah, just keep smashing it. I'm sure it'll end up in the outskirts of town. You stupid son of a bitch. Anyway, that's going to end it here, boys and girls. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys will take interest in the next episode, where I will possibly make a big trip. We'll head south and maybe go check out a few other businesses. There's another town. It's way, way at the end, and while we're on our trek down there, we'll try and stop at a couple of these little wasteland ruins. But obviously there's some dangers to be had, so check those out, and I will see you then. Bye for now.